everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and I hope that you're having a lovely week. Now I have been very busy in the house, sorting stuff out, clearing up, and also within my work. So on Tuesday I delivered a workshop in the morning. The workshop went quite well, had really good engagement from the people that attended, which was super. I then had a couple of meetings in the afternoon where I had to present a report to like some very senior managers. Then I picked my daughter up from school. She came home. She had a flute lesson. We had dinner, and then I had to go out. And there was a bit of a clash because my husband had a meeting in the evening too. Now, luckily, that was just on Teams. I had to go out to Yarmouth, which is quite a distance away from where I am really. But luckily my daughter went and spent some time with my mum, which she really loves. They both really enjoy spending time with each other. I think they like similar sort of things. So my daughter really loves sort of craft activity and that sort of thing. My mum does all sorts of things with her and she really enjoys going to my mum's house, which is nice. So I felt a bit disappointed at the fact that we'd both got something at the same time. But we never go out, very rarely go out, as you know. It's not like very often that she's left. So she was with my mum for about an hour and then she came back and my husband did stories. And I went to this meeting in Yarmouth. Oh, honestly, there were some good things about it, but there were others which is like really incredible. They were using this system called Slido or Slido. I very cleverly left my mobile phone at home. Can you believe? So the idea was that you could sit and post questions as the speakers were speaking. And to begin with, I thought this was a really good idea. And then I realised that the whole thing was designed to stop people from asking questions. So no one was allowed to put their hand up and ask a question or query. That all had to be done through this Slido system where you posted it on your phone and it came up on a big screen. And then in the room, people started having like arguments between each other, but their name was like anonymous, so you couldn't see who was writing it. And then there was a couple of people on my table that didn't really understand half of what seemed to be going on. Then we had a counsellor come and sit on our table who also didn't seem to know half of what was going on. And really, I came away and just thought, was this a waste of my time? Was it worth me going to decide that I'm never going to go back? I don't know. There's a few things that I need to follow up as a result of it, but I'm not sure it was a good use of my time in that I had to drive there. I had to get parked. Thankfully, the parking was free, because if I'd have paid for parking, I'd have been even less impressed. But then I had to walk to the meeting, then back, I don't know. Kind of ate into a significant proportion of my evening, and I didn't there was no takeaways from the presenters for me. There was nothing sort of new or different. So that was of limited value, but I did get a takeaway from the person on my table. He shared with me something that he did, which I thought was a really good idea. So I thought that was good. So there was one point. But my husband asked me about it when I came in and said about how I'd left my phone behind. Of course, when I got there, I was frantically looking for my phone, thinking that I dropped it out of the car or something. And then today is going to be, this is late afternoon as I record this. So I dropped my daughter off at work. My husband's in London. And I've worked all day and I'm trying to get some reports done. And it's been an uphill struggle to say the least. It was one of those things, a few weeks ago, and I said everything had been one step forward and 3 steps back. But I'm seeing the light now between the trees. The light is shining through. I'm getting there. So I did some work there and I attended two management meetings to give presentations and updates on different things. And this evening, I suddenly thought, is my husband going to be back on time? Because that makes Wednesday really crazy day. Because my daughter goes to band and she's got guides and I'm the guide leader. So I have to feel like I'm in two places at once. And now it's very, very dark. If I'm completely honest, I'm not a lover of driving in the pitch black on country roads where cars behind you still expect you to do like 50 miles an hour. But my husband has said he will be back to do the band trip. And also, you're going to laugh at this, because I wasn't at Guides last week because that was a birthday celebration. So there's 3 things in my house that I need to take to Guides. And I'm like really pleased, yes, because I'm getting rid of these things out of my house. So I'm really pleased about that. I've got a massive, massive bag that's going to the charity shop of things that I took out of the loft room. So I'm really pleased about that. I'm bringing some things down from the loft room and putting them into the playroom, ready to photograph and sell. And then there's also some things that I'm taking out to get ready for the Christmas, all the Christmas decorations. My daughter's felt advent calendar is not in the normal place. So I still need to find that, and I do start feeling like I'm running out of time. What are we, the 27th of November as I record this? So I need to find that and set that up. I've been collecting things over the course of the last month that I'm going to put in her advent calendar. She has she really, you know how she can't eat chocolate, normal chocolate? She's got a chocolate she really loves, and they do these boxes. And really, how those of you that know people with allergies, or those of you who've got allergies or intolerances yourselves, really, they do rip you off. They really do. Do you know this box of chocolates that she really liked? I'd given her a couple, they're really small, and I'd given her 2 as her dessert. She doesn't really have much sugar or sweet things. I'd given her 2. And over the course of a few weeks, I'd given her 2 a couple of times. And I looked in the box and there really wasn't many left. So I bought a new box. My husband put them all out on the side. Do you know how many are in a big box that costs £5? There were 12. And I think that always happens with the free from items. What they try to charge you. I mean, a lot of it is marketing as well. I saw some rice the other day that said free from milk, egg and something else. And I thought, this is rice. And it was in the free from section. So anyway, I got another box of these little chocolates. So I'm going to be putting them in her advent calendar. Then I've got a few little bits and pieces to put in. So I've got some little kawaii pens. I've got some washi tape and a few other little bits of Japanese things that she really likes. Now, the thing that she's going to be really excited about is I had a spare pack of pens, which I was planning to just give to Guides for our Pass the Parcel. But then when we had the family birthday party, my daughter decided to do a scavenger hunt downstairs. Oh, I've got to tell you about this. You'll laugh. So the scavenger hunt downstairs, which was all my family were around, and the things, they were little Beatrix Potter figures, but they were hidden, but not hidden like as in it was impossible to find them. So like one was on a shelf, like one was just near a birthday card. And then I didn't realise she was doing this, but she did it all, and everyone went round with their paper and pen and they joined in with what my daughter wanted. And then we gave out first and second prize. So I quickly went into the kitchen and gave her the pens, and the people then chose first and second prize. And when they then left, she said, I really wanted one of those pens. I said, well, they were for Guides. I said, and then I thought it'd be a good idea to give them out as a prize. So she said, okay. So then when we had other people round on Sunday, she did the same thing. But she got the little Beatrix Potter figures and she hid them really, really well, which meant some of the areas that people were like looking behind, I looked one area with a picture frame and my goodness, I had to tell them all. I said to my daughter that you've hidden them to such a degree that everybody's looking where I've not dusted. And my sister-in-law laughed. I said, that's not a great idea. Anyway, there was a winner, and again, I let her choose one of these pens. And the look upon her face, or I let the winner choose one of the pens. My daughter gave it to her. The look upon my daughter's face was a little bit like, and now there's only 2 pens left. She said, oh, I'm not going to get one of those pens, am I? I said, well, I had said that they were going to be given for Guides. Anyway, what she doesn't know is I've got a pack of those pens, and I'm splitting them up, and they're going to be part of her advent calendar. But what I tend to do with the bigger things, and I will show you her her cloth advent calendar. The bigger things, she gets to do a little scavenger hunt. So it all takes quite a lot of time. So I put a little note in to do a little search. I think I mentioned it the other day. So in the number 2, that might say, look under the face pot. And she'll come into the lounge where there's a pot with a face on. And she'll look in there and she'll see the next clue, which says, look under the toaster. Anyway, she loves all this and it's quite entertaining. And she gets very excited as we get closer and closer to Christmas. So I've been blown away by some of your comments, and some of you have written like so many things, and I feel like I've really got to know some of you so well. And never in my wildest dreams did I think that, you know, you kind of form friendships on this platform, which is, I understand, quite a lot of people that have YouTube channels do, which is just so lovely. And I also love getting an insight into your traditions and your customs and the things that you've been up to and what you've been doing. It's so interesting. So a massive thank you to all of you that have been following me. I started this channel now over a year ago, but it was about December and January where my channel kind of really started taking off. And in one day I got 200 people subscribe, which just was like, I woke up one morning and I was like, what's happened? And if you look back on my videos, to begin with, they were quite short and I used music quite a lot until people kept telling me I'm not keen on this song, or I'm not keen on that song. No one likes the same thing, do they? So I started changing my videos a little bit, and you've all been cheering me on. So thank you to all of you. Whether you followed me right from the very beginning, or you've joined partway through, or you've, you know, just joined very recently. It's so lovely to hear from you all. So I'm going to go through some of my comments like I always do. I've got some really lovely comments to go through, and yeah, massive thank you. And I'm also looking for your ideas. So as it approaches the end of the year and going into the new year, any thoughts or ideas that you might have in terms of hashtags that I should use, or the way that I should sort of talk about my videos. I think last year, where I got a lot of people watching, was that I called a lot of my videos New Year. And so obviously some people are thinking about clearing their house out and decluttering and cleaning as part of their sort of New Year resolution, or something they just want to do for that new year. So I'm going to go through some of your comments. And the first comment today is from Coffee Loving Queen. And Coffee Loving Queen says, hi Emma, you asked about the languages we speak. So I'm Dutch and my husband is Italian. We both speak Dutch and Italian, and so do our adult children. In the Netherlands, it's very common to speak English, German and French, at least the basics, so we manage wherever we go. It's very useful. I'm so impressed when people speak several languages. I just think it's so important. And unfortunately, in England, I do think, and possibly the wider of the United Kingdom, but I feel like I can only really speak for England because I know about England most. But I feel like a lot of people are very lazy, and a lot of people just expect to go anywhere in the world and just speak English. And I also don't think we place enough value on it. So children do tend to start learning another language at school from the age of roughly 10, sometimes 9. But it's not done with what I call any sort of sense of seriousness. Like I've sort of mentioned briefly before, it's very basic. You know, hello, goodbye, how are you, and counting 1 to 10. Very basic. So I'm always very impressed when I hear how other countries just encourage their children to speak all these different languages. So, you know, what a gift to pass on to your child, I think. And I guess that's why I was so keen for my daughter to learn a language so early. So she did speak and understand English. She was chatting in full sentences at a very early age. But they often say, don't they, that children either walk or talk early. Not very often both. She was very late walking. She didn't walk until she was about 18.5 months. Didn't really bother me because she did put weight on her legs. So she stood up and like held on. She just didn't, walk. But she was talking very early. And I can remember this little group I used to go to, someone looked like shocked and said, oh, you shouldn't be introducing a second language before she can speak, and understand English. But at the point that I introduced that, she understood everything that I was saying and would reply back in sentences or certainly attach, 3 or 4 words together. So I think I did it at the right time. Betty Smith says, hi Emma, your cake looked gorgeous. I'm 80 and live on my own, but I still decorate for Christmas. I love Christmas and luckily I have a lovely family. That's lovely. So have you started decorating yet, Betty? Carolyn says, I love your new basket. I'm really pleased with my new basket and I feel tempted to go and get another one. Teague80 says, I have a running shopping list out constantly. I have it near the calendar. Maybe that would help you keep on top of stuff you need. I think that's a good idea and encourage my husband to add things. Katrina Valles said, I would love to receive one of your macrame hangings. I'm here in Australia down under. Do you know, when I was a little girl, I really did believe that if I dug a deep enough hole, I would get through to Australia. And then someone said to me that you'd have to go through the core of the earth and how hot it would be. But I sort of had visions that I'd still be able to dig it myself. It's funny the way that you think about things when you're small. Karen says, you're a terrific juggler. Thank you, Karen. And Tessa Davey says, the cake looks fab. Thank you. I was pleased with how it tasted too. Sandy said, I enjoyed the video, but please don't work too hard. Kitty Cookie says, dishwasher and the dryer. It will save you so much time. I agree, but it's the forever problem of where am I going to put it? This is the thing. There's no way that I'm having a dryer in my dining room. And I'm not particularly keen on having it upstairs in the bedroom either. So I am limited. And up until that point, until I can find a place, I'm going to have to keep on doing what I'm doing. And I know that's frustrating to some of you, but I've got limited choice. Louise Tilbrook says, I've been watching your garden videos. I'm actually on disability pension, pay. I've got a lot of health issues. Spending time in my garden, especially at sunset, really helps my mood. In the summer, Louise Tilbrook, do you do the grounding thing they talk about? Actually walk on the grass with no shoes on. Louise says, with me not having children makes decluttering easier. I don't drive, so I have to book a charity truck from Red Nose Australia. And they come to my house and pick up all the goods I want to give away. So I replied and said, I'm sorry to hear about the health issues. Are they things that can improve over time or not? And Louise came back and said that she's got various different issues. So kidney, thyroid, skeletal, and anxiety. I'm sorry to hear that, Louise. I hope those conditions that can improve and that you've got sort of, evidence that they can improve, I hope they do improve for you. At least the symptoms diminish. That's what I hope for you. Wendy Jones says, I don't know how big your bathroom is, but would it be a help? It would be a help for you to put the washing machine in the bathroom and have a dishwasher in the kitchen. No, unfortunately not. My washing machine would definitely not fit in my bathroom unless I remove my toilet, my sink or my bath. In the previous house we lived in, it was much smaller than this house, just like a 2 up, 2 down, nice little terrace house, but that had a bigger bathroom, so I probably could get a dryer in that bathroom, but not in this one, no. Carolyn says, you're good. I'd have brought a cake. I only make 1 cake a year for my husband, and me and my husband do a joint effort for my daughter. Brooke says, oh Emma, you so make me laugh. And she talked a little bit about my comment about constructive criticism. Since I've moved home, I call that kind of behaviour expert advice. Yeah, I agree. As my dad has a tendency to do that with my cooking, since I make a greater variety than my mum has for their 50+ years of marriage. Yeah, you probably do a different sort of range of meals, do you, Brooke? That does make me laugh, calling it expert advice. Next time anything's said, like that I described in that previous video, I might say, thank you for your expert advice. What gets me is the people that have expert advice on stuff that they've got absolute no experience about and know nothing about. Like, for example, I could receive expert advice in my own job, but actually the person giving the expert advice has actually no clue what I do. I try to keep, I am an opinion, I do have a lot of opinions about a lot of things, but if it's something that I don't know much about, I try to keep quiet and listen. Brooke says, I'm chuffed about your new basket. That's a good price and a good size. I also have a laugh because there has been talk on this channel about the ukulele. Then I had a session with one of my 7th graders, and lo and behold, what class is she taking this trimester? But ukulele. Oh. Did I miss something? It looks like they shall not be named small living beings on your dining room mantle are no longer there. Yeah, okay, so I can give you an update on that. Yes, sadly, I had 4 left, 4 little beetles left, and people kept saying to me, put them outside, put them outside. You can't put them outside. They're not native to this country, so you can't do that. But the very sad thing was, and that makes you really think about the chemicals that we use in our homes, I washed out their little house and cleaned all their little house with fairy liquid and dried it all, and there was a tiny couple of tiny little drips in the inside, and I rinsed it all as well, but that tiny amount of diluted fairy liquid, those tiny little drops, it killed them. It was very sad. I did want to get rid of them. I'd had enough of them, but it was still sad. Oh. And then the last bit that Brooke says about is, oh no, I'm already so disheartened by how terrible things are here with what we call Big Pharma. Now I didn't use that phrase on my channel, but that is what I call them, Brooke. Sad to hear your medical system is turning the same way. Earlier this week I posted something on Facebook about how these individuals should no longer be called our doctors but our drug pushers. I absolutely agree. And what I find very, very hard now is trying to find who can you speak to who's going to give you the full choices to make a decision about your own health. And is the decision being swayed or influenced by someone making money? That's what I find tricky. Who do you know how to trust? Who do you trust? How do you know whether you can trust them or not? Unless you've got that wonderful doctor like what Cynthia has. Well, Cynthia's very lucky. We all want doctors like Cynthia. How can you trust them? So difficult. Then Brooke just asked me a question about my daughter. I'm really curious if she's got an Italian name. Not that I expect you to answer. So she has got an English name, but she has got an Italian name that she uses. So if you ask her what her name was and you were in Italy, she would give the Italian version of her name. So you can see at this point in the video, I've brought down a lot of the Christmas things from upstairs, and I'm now putting them into the playroom, just to one side, while I sort out a space downstairs and we bring them down and start decorating the house. But what I was particularly looking for here were the advent calendars, because I need them for Sunday. My daughter is going to be going to band, so I thought, let me find them and then I can spend some time doing them. So on this part of the video, you can see what they look like. So this is a cloth one that I mentioned. My sister had this specially named. You can't see the top of it because that's my daughter's name has been put on there, all in felt. And then you see I get all the little different bits and pieces that I've been collecting over the last couple of months. So she has got 2 chocolate advent calendars because they now do free from chocolate. It was so kind one of the teachers at school got her one, and also she's got another one from one of her grandmothers, which is very kind. But we started these ones where we fill them up just because, you know, many years ago there were no free from options. She eats mostly, she likes the Numo. Don't know if any of you have heard of that, but it is really nice. I've tasted it myself and you wouldn't really tell. It tastes like normal chocolate. They've really mastered the recipe. So I decided to get all this done while my daughter was at bands. Literally, my husband got home at 5:30. She'd just eaten her dinner and she went out to bands, and then she joined me at Guides afterwards. So I was filling them up with different things that I've collected over the last sort of few weeks and things that I'd ordered. And then you'll see me writing as I was sorting out the hunts that I described to you that I always do for her. So when she got back from Guides, I said she was then getting ready for bed, and I said, "Did you see your advent calendars?" She said, "No!" Getting really excited. I said, "Well, I haven't quite finished them." I said, "I've done I think I did the first 12 days in both of them." I said, "And I've sorted out some hunts, and I've tried to organise it so that she gets like one of her favourite chocolates on one day. She doesn't get that on the other day." So I think I told her there was 3 hunts that I've organised, but I think there's 4. And there's a number of other things in there. There's some pens and some washi tape, and there's some of that. There's a slime there, which she's going to be really excited about. So just very, very small things, but just things that are just exciting and fun. So once I get a couple of hours spare, I'll probably be able to do the rest of it in about an hour, I'd say. I'll finish it all off and finish off my hunts. So she's got a pair of winter fluffy socks there and a couple of other bits that I just need to do a couple more hunts, and then the rest of it's finished. So thank you so much for all your support, your kindness, your encouragement, your ideas. Thank you for sharing what you're up to. I've loved reading the posts about what you're planning for the sort of weeks leading up to Christmas and talking about Thanksgiving. So interesting to learn about what you're all doing. And I love reading through all of your comments. And I'm very close to my 3,000 subscribers. Now, someone kindly mentioned to me I do need to make it very clear, and I have added to the community section, that the giveaway is no way connected to YouTube. There's no responsibility or no affiliation with YouTube whatsoever. If there's any problems or issues with the giveaway, then I am solely responsible and liable for any problems. So I have to say that as part of the giveaway. So I'm getting very, very close. So thank you for those of you that have commented about that. And the last thing I wanted to just quickly mention is about the money that we raised for the charity. I'm so pleased. The figure's going up and up and up. We've still got 3 days left. So for those of you that watch the ads, watch a little bit longer, watch one of my old videos, please know that you've helped to raise this money for a really important charity. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.